Every single one of you needs to look around and say, my job is to make sure that everybody is cared for and everyone is served. Hi. A master facilitator. Wow, not sure about that. I've spent the last 10 years studying a subject that I think is near and dear to many of you here, and it's the subject of building community. When I wrote Never Eat Alone, it was really a book about how to deepen your authentic relationships in this world, leading with authenticity, leading with generosity, building that network that is very powerful, that help you achieve everything. What I discovered over our work, working with large organizations in transformation, is that real change happens and real outcomes happen in community. Some of the earliest work that we discovered and looked at was that of the 12-step program. People who are at the lowest parts of their lives, turning themselves around one day at a time with a group of other individuals who won't let them fail. That same principle was the principle that we used when coaching and working with General Motors coming out of bankruptcy. Love the work that Mary Barra is doing today. My old man was an unemployed steelworker, UAW, United Auto Workers steelworker, when I was a kid. And the tears that came to my eyes when the CFO of General Motors said that because of the work of building a tribe of individuals that wouldn't let each other fail at General Motors, that he believed that that was the reason they didn't go back into bankruptcy. For each of us in this room, you're all tribal leaders. I don't think you'd be here at Mindvalley without an intention of strength in the world and wanting to resonate power and impact and change. And what I'd invite you to do is I'd invite you to become community leaders. Vision's, of course, a beautiful community leader of us. And every one of you in your passions and pursuits, I want you to shift your mindset for a moment, and I want you to be the host of a community that may or may not even know that it's invited yet. Now, for practice, I'd like us to use the next few days to practice being community leaders. And I'd like us, in the next half of an hour, to go through 4 exercises that I think are really important and impactful for each of you to claim your passion and your right as a host. But let's, for a moment, let's apply it to this beautiful community here. So in the next few days, I now invite you to step into a new role. Each of you, for the next few days, is the A-Fest community leader. Every single one of you. Believe it or not, the guy who wrote Never Eat Alone is an introvert. I come to events, and if I'm not on stage, I hate them. Because I have a sense of insecurity and fear of not knowing my place and not knowing how I show up and what am I being thought of and all of those wonderful, crazy things that may... By the way, does anybody else in this room resonate at all with that feeling? Raise your own hands. God bless you. Thank you. I just needed that us right there. Thanks. I was like, one person raised their hand. I'm like, shit. All right. And so what I do to become courageous is I become a host. In my own little head, I become a host. And what I've found with practice is that as soon as I become a host, my event changes. Now, the host who happened to host the party doesn't necessarily know that's what I've become. But in my own mind, last night, for instance, I was upstairs and I was noticing at 11:30, and I said to some people, I said, hey, I just landed, I'm getting a little hungry. How about we go downstairs, go walk around and pull whoever's hungry downstairs to have a bite to eat? So 6 of us went downstairs, and I went around and grabbed a bunch of people, some of whom I thought were cute. But anyway, and I said, let's go downstairs. And I got down there, and when the music ended upstairs and more people came, I ran out in the hallway and I said, hey, come and join us. And I said, hey guys, let's pull some tables together. And we had, by the time we were done, we had a long table, and I don't know how many was there last night until 3 in the morning. We probably had about 40 to 60 folks, right? Who gave me permission to be host? My insecurity did, right? What I invite all of you to do is that for the remainder of this time, I invite you to be a host. Serve this community like a mother. Convene, right? When you're a host, you have two prominent ideas in your head. You need to make sure that everybody is cared for and everybody is served. That's your job here. Every single one of you needs to look around and say, my job is to make sure that everybody is cared for and everyone is served. Now, by the way, do we all give everybody else permission to care for us and to serve us? Raise your hands if you're cool with that, right? And therefore, that means all of you have permission to be the host. Now, what I'd like to do is 4 simple exercises in a period of 25 minutes that I hope we can get through, so that we can begin to coach all of us in this room to be slightly better hosts. Of course, to be a great host, we've got to calm our own psychological safety. We've got to, that reptilian brain that's firing off the I'm not good enough, I don't deserve to do this, the I don't believe in myself, and what if they don't accept me, right? We've got to calm that. And the way I find is you don't calm that through rhetoric, you only calm that through practice. Practice is what calms and transforms human behavior. Right? There's a wonderful saying that actually comes from AA, which is you don't think your way into a new way of acting, you act your way into a new way of thinking. So it's the next 24 minutes of practices that I think will be the gift that we can all give each other. Ultimately, what we're doing here as a host and of a community, to build a community of action, I've come up with a new word that I didn't think the word existed of what I was trying to do. About 2 years ago, I coined a word. I call it co-elevation. Collaboration isn't enough. I'm looking for a group of people to come together and go higher together. Co-elevation. To me, that principle, and that'll be my keynote talk that I'll be giving on Sunday for you. But to be a leader, you need to be a facilitator of co-elevation. And the key to that is to bridge empathy among a community, a shared mission, a commitment to the mission and each other. So to be co-elevating, you're not just collaborating on something, you're committing to elevating each other in the process. So there's a co-creation and a co-development. Does that make sense to everybody? And that's what I want all of us to be here to do, not as individuals. I fear that we're all tribal species. And as tribal species, unfortunately, when you come into a room and you feel alone, you're a tribe of one. And that includes all of the negative aspects of tribes, of defensiveness and prejudice that exist. But what we need to do here is even move beyond that into pods where many of you have already got your posse you've been walking around with. I need you to shake loose of even your posse pod and your tribe and into this tribe. Can you manifest this as an equilibrium of a tribe? So to do that, we're going to go through these 4 exercises. Everybody stand up, please. And the quicker you can segue with me, please, without a lot of dialogue in between would be appreciated so that we can get through all 4 exercises in service of the team. Find one person that you haven't met yet, please, as quickly as you can without a lot of dialogue. Come on back. Thank you. So look at the person that you're standing next to. Look into their left eye. Just into their left eye. And just stare at them for just a moment, please. I understand the discomfort. Not at me. Not at me. Look at them. Now, the first thing I want you to think about is see this individual as a little child at play. What did this little boy or girl look like? Frolicking, playing with trucks, playing with dolls as a small child. See in the eyes of this individual, please, somebody as they first fell in love. What age did you think this person was? What do you think it felt like? Was it puppy love? Was it deep? Are they still with this person? Imagine for a moment the horrible news of this person hearing of a loved one's death. How did that soak into them? What were the feelings that were going through them? The fear, the loss. How did this person feel when they were first and most significantly betrayed? By whom? In what context? What lasting impact has that had? Where is this person struggling now? Can you see it in their eyes that there is a place, there is a struggle, and they're still looking to manifest out of that? Can you see in this person the excitement of the most extraordinary physical bliss that they have ever experienced with another human in the throes of orgasm? And then collapsing into the arms of that person with the most intimate, beautiful touch? Okay, give that person a proper Mindvalley hug. So, if I can have your attention, please. So, when we sit down at lunch or dinner, and we look at another individual in a moment, let's spend the time to see all of that. And then if we could, as the host, why don't we dig more curiously into all of those questions? Those are all the possibility of hope, fear, aspiration that exists in the person in front of you. And what we just did is, in that exercise, you quieted your own sense of insecurity, your belief that you didn't deserve to have a relationship with that person. You took yourself through an exercise as simple as looking in their eyes. Does that make sense to everybody? Beautiful. Can we find your next partner that you haven't met yet, please? We're going to do something else. Without much dialogue. Now, what I'd like you to do with that person, if you don't mind, is just sit down somewhere next to them. The exercise I'd like us to do now is a simple 3 or 4 minute exercise. And it's something that I do at my dinner parties. It's something that I do when I'm coaching executive teams at the beginning of a team meeting. It could literally be a 30-second to a 1 minute per person exercise if you choose it to be so. We can take a little bit more time because I've got a few other exercises though. I call it sweet and sour. Real simple, sweet and sour. And I'd like us, for the sake of the time that we have, to disproportionately lean to the struggle, right? So the sweet, so if I were doing a sweet and sour, I might say, so sweet for me right now is a business partner and I just bought 15 acres in Topanga Canyon in Los Angeles. And we're creating a retreat center for people to come and practice a new way of being, a co-elevating way of being. And I can't wait to serve community like this there, right? So that's sweet. Try to make that fast, right? The sour, the struggle for me. I have 2 foster sons. You'll hear more about them in my talk. My oldest one, I got at 16. And he's had some real challenges. He's been to jail twice. He is up for parole, and a parole hearing coming up. And he's not doing what he needs to do. And he's not taking my advice. And there's a chance he'll go back to prison, jail for 5 years. And I struggle because I don't know how much I should serve and where that is enablement. I know what he needs to do, and it's his life to do it, and I'm trying to get him to do it, and I can make it all go away. But should I make it all go away again? I did it for the first time. He didn't go to jail. Then I chose not to do it, and he did go to jail. And I'm torn. I am torn, and I feel like a really shitty parent. And I feel like I'm letting down my obligation. In the same regard, I don't know where to draw the line. That's my struggle. And I open that up for conversation throughout the weekend. But I want you to now turn to the persons, and that was probably, what, a minute? So in less than a minute or two, can you put yourself out there, please, vulnerably, in service of the person sitting next to you? Some of you, vulnerability is beautiful. It's courageous. Can you be courageous for this tribe? Can you be courageous for this tribe? Right? And that's the question here. And please, if you don't really feel it, just share what you feel comfortable sharing. But sweet and sour, hit something sweet, try to go deep into the struggle for yourself and that person. And I will let you all curate the time. Please spend about a minute or two each, and I'll let you know when you have a minute left until you're coming back. Go for it. So the first exercise was one that is a very internalized exercise. We can walk around seeing people and imagining all those beautiful things, quieting our own reptilian brains and engaging with the courage that we need to engage. This exercise is what I'd like you to begin to do. Open yourselves up, share vulnerably, ask and invite another individual to share with you what they're struggling with. There's lots of joyous moments here, but there's also a tribe of people that can be here with us to heal. So let's make sure we open ourselves up for that. Can you, as quickly as possible, please find your third partner, new partner, and then come back quietly. So for this exercise, I believe communities, the intention of a community is to co-create and to have a shared mission. And one of the things I would love to see here is that our dinner conversations, our lunch conversations, we can ask, what are you struggling with? But the second question I want us to ask is, how can I help? I would love for the standard greeting, in addition to this, as we continue, yeah, please sit down. As we continue, can we have as a standard greeting here, how can I help? Could that be a good standard greeting? When you go up to meet somebody, ask the question, how can I help? Now the beholden upon that is upon you. When you're asked, how can you help? You could go to the struggle. Well, I'd love to talk to you about my son and what I'm going through right now. Or you could put an issue on the table that you're interested in co-creating with. So for me, it's the Topanga Project. I want to create a physical place where community leaders like yourself can come and we can help facilitate your creation of your community. So I could put that down and somebody would pepper me with a lot of questions, and that could be our dialogue. So how can I help is the question. How can I help is the question. What now is your turn. What would you like help with? What would you like help with? In literally just a minute or two, we're not going to have a chance to actually exchange and go deep, but I want you to practice for a moment how you're going to answer that question for the rest of the time here. Okay? How are you going to answer the question when somebody says to you at a cocktail event tonight, how can I help you? Help each other find the answer to that question in the next 2 minutes. Go for it. How many of you surprised yourself as you were sharing and exploring that, what you found as your answer? The two of us, as we just went through our exercise, and his exercise was so beautiful. He said he hadn't thought of this question before until it was asked, but his question was, how does he be the best father that he can be? And that's what he wants to explore while he's here, right? And I realized that as we talked, mine isn't to find somebody. It isn't actually. Mine is actually, how do I open my heart to love? That's the thing that I'd like to pursue while I'm here. How do I really open my heart to love? So I hope that this question will really be, can we all agree that this is going to be a standard greeting for us? How can I help? And that we'll take it seriously? Agree? Beautiful. Okay, find your final partner. So our last, before we get to honor the beautiful and wonderful Michael Beckwith, what I want you to think about, has anybody ever been to Burning Man here? Yeah. I was a part of a group that was honored to bring, we were always so inspired by the burn. I've been 15 years at the burn, and I was so inspired by the man and being present and by the temple of letting go that a few of us decided that we really needed something about where we were going. what was our destination. We decided to bring something audacious, and we brought the 747 to Burning Man, which has been very powerful. And in a part of it, we designed an exercise, 2 exercises. One was a boarding card that you wrote on it, and as you got on to the 747, you wrote where you wanted to go. But then the second thing we did is you also got a luggage tag, your baggage tag. And you got to write on your baggage tag what you wanted. But by the way, our airline, we promised to lose 100% of your baggage. So you got to write on the baggage tag what you were willing and wanted to let go behind, right? And that was beautiful. I saw so many people, and then we burned that at the temple as a part of the exercise. One of the things that is a tribal host, as a host of your community, you are going to have to leave behind parts of yourself that won't serve the community. You'll have to leave behind parts of yourself this weekend that aren't serving you showing up here, being the facilitator and host of this beautiful tribe. Whether that's insecurity, fears, doubts, etc. I loved the comment that Michael made earlier. I have a companion that I carry with me ever since I was a poor kid, economically, and then as I came out and feeling ostracized in Pittsburgh around my sexuality, I have a companion of scarcity. And it still comes with me. The idea of abundance and walking into a room and believing that the universe will provide is something I struggle with. But I'm promising that for this weekend, to be your host and to be connected with you, I'm going to believe in abundance. So that's my intention. What is yours? What are you leaving behind and practicing just for this weekend? What are you willing to practice for this weekend, leaving behind, that will allow you to show up as the most powerful community member and host of this beautiful tribe, of this group of individuals that your job is to help others connect? What do you need to leave behind? And I think all of us promise that we will help each other lose that luggage. 2-minute conversation. Go for it. So that was 4 individuals, 4 levels of intention that you can carry into any dialogue or conversation this weekend. I think it's our intention to strengthen this tribe. And I hope that in the process of you strengthening this tribe for the weekend, that you become more effective at manifesting the skill sets, the competencies to be hosts of the communities in your life. I look forward to the breakout that I'll be doing. I think is on Saturday. The formal dialogue I'll be doing with you is on Sunday. And I really look forward to the depth of the dialogue between now and then. Thank you.